Of course, we got to have a ChatGPT update over here. Newest version of ChatGPT passed the U.S. medical licensing exam with flying colors and diagnosed a 1 in 100,000 condition in seconds. Oh, welcome to your future doctor. GPT. It's the lawyers, it's the doctors. It's always these type of articles because they're like, well, if they can replace that, what do we do? What do we do? I'm not suggesting, by the way, that it can. Because,
well, I think it can.
Well, I mean, it can replace some aspects of it, but you still, like, there's still a care and a touch to it at the moment, particularly in medicine. You want the AI telling you you're dead? Is that what you want, Will? Giving you the countdown?
Yeah, I mean, just for a personal anecdote, I use like an app called Maple. And they kind of like diagnose, it's kind of like a chat thing, and you deal with like a doctor. But in this case, I feel like AI could potentially replace that.
Oh, for sure.
In just, minor.
Well, think about what people do right now before they even go to see a doctor. And everybody's Googling what's going on with them. They're just like Googling symptoms. And you get
on a WebMD.
You have like these 17 different results. From the usual suspects of medical websites, and it kind of sucks because it's like differential diagnosis, or all of a sudden you're reading like studies, and it goes deep fast, and maybe it doesn't have to, and probably in the same way. Where, like, I saw something on Twitter yesterday. A guy had developed a thing for voice for his MacBook, utilizing Siri, but plugging into GPT, where he was coding a website in, like, minutes with his voice. He's like, so it needs to be dark mode, and it needs to be, what's it called when it can scale from mobile to desktop?
Responsive?
It has to be responsive, and it needs to have a sign-up form, and it needs to be a basic social networking site. And then he just says like a number of things, and he's talking in regular language.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, no problem. And it's like, compiling. It's like, and he ends up with the thing. And it's like, if he had to Google all the lines necessary to create that and to go on to, what are these type of sites that help you with this type of thing? Beyond Google. It's, why am I forgetting the name of that site?
There's a big one. I think it's called Bootstrap. It's like a framework.
Well, anyway,
or a website.
Anyway,
or like Wix or
no. I didn't mean that. I meant more like for a programmer, where they go to look for, to say for example, they have an issue in their code, and then they want to go and look for a solution.
Stack Overflow?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the sequence that used to transpire is very similar to how. And this is why Google has to be interested in this, because it's very similar to how you would solve your problems historically on the internet, which is, okay, I'm going to Google it, click on 7 or 8 links, read in some forums. It's like, it's really not a great experience. This is one area where if you truly had an assistant that was able to see all of this.
Yeah, and I think AI is really good at really clear instructions that you can just, make it more specific every single question, and then they'll just be able to do it, So build like a website, build a responsive website, build me a website with the buttons. How many buttons? 4 buttons. Sign up page, blah, blah, blah. As long as you get more specific, I think AI is really good at doing that. Just really clear instructions.
Yeah, or, I think, but how do you Google? Think about how you Google. And everybody's Googling techniques are not identical. You can have somebody with some sort of issue, and they can go, broken thing. And it's like, blah. But once you start putting error codes in, all of a sudden it gets more specific and more specific.
Yeah.
Google already kind of operates in that way, but in a seemingly less efficient way, relying on, well, I guess they kind of both rely on user-generated results. It's just compiled differently, and I suppose it's processing power and speed and a number of other factors that will determine the proliferation here. But anyway, back to doctor. A doctor and Harvard computer scientist says GPT-4 has better clinical judgment than many doctors. The chatbot can diagnose rare conditions just as I would, he said. But GPT-4 can also make mistakes. It hasn't taken the Hippocratic Oath. Oh, my goodness. Well, that is what? I will do everything I can to save your life type of thing. It requires his new physician to swear upon a number of healing gods that he will uphold a number of professional ethical standards. Oh, it's a number.
This is from a while ago.
Scroll down. Let's see specifically. Click on the Wikipedia. Hippocrates, is that his name? That's very similar to hypocrite. A little worried about that. I'm a little worried about that. First, do no harm. It is often said that the exact phrase, first do no harm, is a part of the original Hippocratic Oath, although the phrase does not appear in the AD 245 version of the oath. Similar intentions are vowed by, I will abstain from all intentional wrongdoing and harm. Wow. Another equivalent phrase is found in Epidemics Book 1 of the Hippocratic School. Practice two things in your dealings with disease. Either help or do not harm the patient. It is amazing. You need to have rules and laws around this because all of a sudden you got doctors just experimenting like, let's see what happened. Back then it would have been Wild West. Well, in this case, Wild Greece in this case.
Yeah, it goes way back.
It goes way back. I'm stunned to say, better than many doctors I've observed. That's the quote he says in the forthcoming book, The AI Revolution in Medicine, co-authored by independent journalist Carrie Goldberg and Microsoft Vice President of Research Peter Lee. The authors say neither Microsoft nor OpenAI required any editorial oversight of the book, though Microsoft has invested billions of dollars into developing OpenAI's technologies, in brackets, insider, full disclosure. In the book, Cohan says GPT-4, which was released in March 2023, answers U.S. medical exam licensing questions correctly more than 90% of the time. It's a much better test taker than previous ChatGPT AI models, GPT-3, 3.5, and a better one than some licensed doctors too. It's not just a good test taker and fact finder, though. It's also a great translator. In the book, it's capable of translating discharge information for a patient who speaks Portuguese and distilling wonky technical jargon into something sixth graders could easily read. See, here is the thing about this, Will. You build this intelligent system and you can replicate it. You know what to expect. It's established. And it's of a certain, it's not to say that it's the best. It's not to say that it's even necessarily in the top 10% of doctors. But humans, there's a wide spectrum of humans, a scope in every profession. And there's a bottom and there's a top. And you really try to avoid the bottom. Yeah. And in those cases, it's exactly what they're saying here. It's like, hey, maybe it doesn't replace every doctor. Maybe it replaces some doctors. It's interesting.
Yeah, or a different medium. How they do that.
How they do stuff. How you do your stuff, doctor.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. Google. Oh, you got a big AI episode here today, Will. You're Mr. AI now. This is AI. Welcome to AI News. Well, I am curious. I have been curious about the hardware of AI because there was the previous conversation around NVIDIA had some comments suggesting that AI was a better use of its equipment than crypto mining, if you recall. And I'm not sure how aware people are, but it's kind of a bit of an arms race, a bit of a hardware arms race for who is going to be responsible for this super speedy AI future. This clip you just watched is sponsored by LaterCase. If you have been looking for an impossibly thin case to put on your brand new smartphone, you need to check out LaterCase, available for both Android and iPhone. Check the description of this clip in order to get a special offer.